This Coke Zero Sugar 400 Betting Picks 2025 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog. Underdog's got brand new offer for customers. Pay just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code RACESGPN.
Driver, start your
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome to another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez, and we are already off to a super speedway start here to this episode. As for whatever reason, or this app decided to switch cameras on me to the one that's not working. But yeah, hi. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. Welcome to the NASCAR Gambling Podcast and all the other pleasantries that you've come to know. It's Daytona, baby. The big one already happened 2 minutes into the episode. But yeah, exciting times ahead, Cody. Exciting times ahead.
I feel like this is a good prelude to what to expect on Saturday night, Rod. That's what I got to say about that.
100.
I think we're in for it on Saturday night.
Boy, I tell you, if this is any sort of record or just any sort of indication of what we're about to experience, then yeah, we're in for a ride. And let's just make it a cutoff race too. Why don't we? Let's go ahead and just put all the chips on the table and make it a cutoff race for the playoffs, because what says make the playoffs more than a super speedway race?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they moved it back. Right, last year it was Darlington, which ended up being a good cutoff race. Of course, Chase Briscoe won at the end there with Richard Boswell, who was Austin Dillon's crew chief last week at Richmond, to get their way in. But Daytona, you start the regular season with it, you end the regular season with it. The chaos that it brings, the Harrison Burton moments that you're going to get, like, well, last year, even though it wasn't the cutoff race, he won here, of course. But yeah, I think that having Daytona be the cutoff race, bringing everything, all the scenarios into this one, I like it. I know there's a lot of hate out there for the current playoff format. That's a debate for another day. This is the format we have. Bring on the chaos that it produces. That's what I say.
That's a debate for the Discord. That thing has been raging for days on end, man. I guarantee you, every time I pop in and JDK is just going to town on the format and everything, it's fantastic. And then Rowdy chimes in, and then Preston jumps in every once in a while, and Shandy gets in the mix. And yeah, there's so much going on in that Discord that, yeah, if you want to debate on the format, definitely a good time to get in on it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great place to be. We have a lot of fun over there.
We do. Speaking of a lot of fun, you can have a lot of fun by downloading our app. Plus, also, Sports Gambling Podcast is giving away a $1,000 Circa Future NFL bet with the phrase that pays. You can submit the phrase now at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/phrase. If you missed any of those words, go back, listen to all the shows, and get all the words. There's 32 of them. So make sure you go back and listen far enough to get the phrase to pays and submit it now. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/phrase.
Yeah, and like if you're an NFL person like we both are, getting a full in-depth preview of each individual team. They had a lot of guests on this year, breaking down the team that they're the fan of, bringing that perspective, which I think was great. So yeah, make sure you check those out.
You just think it was great because you were on it.
Well, this was my first year, Rod. I've been big timed for bigger guests in the past, much like you might have been this year. But this was my first time being the Patriots guy. I didn't have to listen to Negative Nancy talk about the Patriots this year, which was kind of nice.
Absolutely love that. All right. What we absolutely love too is controversy or controversy. Is that what the British say?
As the league turns, Rod.
Yeah. New stuff coming out on this 2311 stuff in NASCAR, huh?
Yeah. So NASCAR filed a response to the 2311 front row injection. Let's see. I was trying to find all of the kind of details. So basically, okay. So yeah, I was just going. Bob always explains it the best. So I'm just going to read what Pacra says. But NASCAR pays the team higher revenue than F1 teams have starting spots for July 2025. NASCAR wants 2311 and Front Row Motorsports to pay back charter money from the earlier injection. And it is so NASCAR says in their filing that others want to buy the 2311 and Front Row charters. So basically requests have come in from existing teams, other racing teams, and others. And NASCAR is saying in their filing, basically, hey, we have all these people interested in these charters. We need a 30-day bidding process to sell these charters. We also need to let the teams know by October 1st if they're going to get a charter, because they need to start putting together a team and start building cars for the Daytona 500 next year. So, hey, we can't really wait any longer. These guys don't have charters. They're just out here, being held in limbo. Let us sell these and move on. That's essentially what NASCAR has now filed. So, this is the next chapter in this. So I guess we'll see where this goes.
That's like, all right, we lent you money 2 years ago. Pay all that money back. Pay the money that you owe us now, and we want to keep everything that we gave you anyways.
Yeah, we paid you this money. We didn't think we had to pay you, but we were told we had to pay you. But turns out we didn't have to pay it to you, so give it back.
They're like, oh,
and
that.
This these charters that we gave you, that we took away from you, that you didn't retake, that we sort of let you have, that the court said you could have, that the court said you couldn't have, we're going to sell those to somebody else if we can. So as the league turns, I guess, Rod, again, that's at this point, what do you expect? What's it going to be? Well, I mean, we could talk all day and night about what possibly is going to come out of this. For now, things continue to go roll as they are. We got 40 entries this week. So even with the extended entries, all these cars are going to make the field. It's going to get ironed out one way or another. It's getting more interesting, I will say, for how this might play out. And this is kind of an interesting new turn. I mean, imagine getting paid lawyer money to sit around in an office all day and be like, how can we get, we got to let these teams know. When do they need to know by? Oh, they got to know by August 1st or October 1st. Fuck. Well, let's file that motion. And yeah, so that's where we're at, I guess.
Either a few things are going to happen. Either Denny Hamlin's long lost twin brother is going to come back and try to claim his throne, right? Because that's what happens in soap operas. Or somebody's long lost spouse that we presume died like several seasons ago is going to come back and still be alive. So I don't know. There's a lot that can happen. But this will be fun to break down in the off season when it all really starts.
And I mean, it really does open up a massive can of worms for rides. I mean, let's say NASCAR is suddenly granted the opportunity to sell these charters. Now 2311 and Front Row don't have charters. Are they allowed to get in on the bidding process to rebuy these charters? How does that work? Like, they would have to agree then to the the charter agreement, if they were to buy these, if they don't win them, all these drivers are open. Tyler Reddick has an out in his contract. Does Rick Hendrick say, sorry, Alex Bowman, I got a chance to get Tyler Reddick? Like, all the dominoes that could possibly fall from this, all the drivers who would be without rides. I mean, you'd have 6 drivers looking for rides at that point in time. Obviously, those charters are still going to be somebody else, but who gets them? Do they bring up other people? Does Corey Heim find his way in because of this? Like, so many unanswered questions from all this.
Yeah, yep. And we're going to get answers, but just not right now. Let's check in with the chat really quick. John Racing, is there any way to bet on Bubba Wallace? That makes sense. Hang tight, John. I got some thoughts on Bubba. JDK saying afternoon, and that NASCAR said the Haas ones were never really sold.
Yeah, I mean, that's another interesting thing because, there was all that charter being sold to 20. Well, I mean, who bought the other one? It was Trackhouse, right? So that one's fine. That's a done deal. But the other 2 were sold to Front Row and 2311, but they were sold when they weren't part of the charter agreement. So did they actually buy those charters? Does that money have to be returned from Haas, and then NASCAR has to buy them from Haas? Like, holy shit. It's never ending, the amount of possibilities, I suppose. So, Rod, no truck series this week, but there is going to be a NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series race. Oh, not yet, but the Xfinity Series will be renamed the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series. So, instead of being fast as Xfinity Internet, that car was as fast as O'Reilly Auto Parts, I think is what they're going to have to say. And you have to sing it, like, because you can't just say it. So,
but you can't also do, you have to do the wow, because you can't.
Yes, you do have to, yeah. Or you have to have like somebody come in the screen and be like, wow, at the end. They'll work on that. But I mean, this series has been previously the Busch Series. Of course, a lot of people still call it that. The Nationwide Series for a while. Then it was the Xfinity Series. Obviously, each of those have become their own standalone names. I mean, we call the Truck Series as the Truck Series, right? Even though it's the Craftsman Truck Series or the Camping World Truck Series or the Gander Outdoor Truck Series or the Craftsman Truck Series the first time. The Cup Series, was always the Winston Cup, the Nextel Cup, but now it's just the Cup. Xfinity, there is no other name. It was just the sponsor. So the O'Reilly Series, I'm going to guess we're just going to call it O'Reilly eventually down the road. But they're going to take over as the premier partner for that series starting in 2026. It is a multi-year deal. And then speaking of the Truck Series, Rod, Matt, you're trying to retire all these old guys. It finally worked. Matt Crafton's hanging it up. He's going to call it quits at the end of the year. So this will be his final year in the Truck Series. He's been in the Truck Series for a long ass time. And Ty Majeski is actually going to leave the 98, of course, the same team, but he's going to go over to the 88 team, continue the Menard sponsorship, which has been on that 88 truck about as long as Matt Crafton's been over there. So they're going to continue to run that team as is, with Ty Majeski as the new driver.
Yeah, so it finally stuck. And maybe, Matt, you've opened the door for me to slide my retirement paperwork. Maybe this is the last time I want to mess with kids on the Richmond Raceway or on whatever the last Iowa or whatever the last track we were on. Maybe it's my last time. Maybe I'm old and cranky and I want to hang it up too. So listen, I mean, every time we talk about the Truck Series, every time we talk about tracks that we've maybe been to but haven't been to in forever, Matt Crafton's the one guy that's been there when they actually were running there full time. So that tells you how long he's been there. And I'm pretty sure he probably woke up the other day and was like, I've taken one too many of these. I'm out.
So Sunday evening went to local racetrack about an hour and a half from here, and our buddy James Rowland, we rode together, and he likes old school races, stuff like that or whatever. So I get in the car and he's playing the 2001 Craftsman Truck Series race on MRN from Kansas Speedway, the first ever race there, right? It's like we're listening to some of the names, like Scott Riggs, Lane's dad was in the race, some other old school names, and Matt Crafton. Hell, this young Matt Crafton comes into the top 5 they're talking about because at the time he was, right? So, he's 45 years old. He's run 585 Truck Series races over 26 years. He has made 3 career Cup Series starts, by the way. 3-time champion, 2013, 2014, and 2019. His first race, Rod, 2000, the Motorola 200. out there at Auto Club Speedway. Did not get his first win though until 2008. Interestingly
7
enough.
years. Wow.
Yeah. So, and his last win came at Kansas, by the way, in 2020. So
I'll bet anytime he steps out on the track, and I did not get the honor of actually meeting him because obviously, that didn't happen in Sonoma, but I'll bet that he feels a lot like when I feel when a new kid comes in to our unit. And the last time the guy was like, yeah, I was born in 2001. I was like, I was 2 years away from getting out the first time in 2001. I hate you.
yeah, that happens.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what he felt like. So, yeah, well, I mean, best wishes to you, Matt. Obviously, Ty Majeski is going to have to either get a sub sponsor on that Menards truck for pianos or something because, yeah, there's a lot to unpack in that one as well. But best of luck as you head off to your retirement, Matt Crafton. We knew you well, very well, in fact.
Yes. Do we want to set up the playoffs, Rod, now, or do you want to do it on the other side of the break?
Let's do it on the other side of the break. We get plenty of time to set what the playoffs look like for this. So, all right. Let me first tell you about our friends over at MyBookie. We're brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the MLB, WNBA, golf, and of course, football futures. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. There's easy deposit, lightning fast payout using cryptocurrency. Hey, how about some cricket bets? I've been diving into these weird and off-colored sports for a very long time. Just got my hands on cricket really and started to wrap my head around what cricket is all about. How about the London Spirit taking on the Northern Superchargers? Not the Chargers, the Superchargers. London Spirit plus 111 to win this one. The Northern Superchargers minus 141. I'm going to go with the underdog in this one. I know that London is 2-3 right now and that the Northern Superchargers are 3-2. However, I just feel like I like London. So give me London Spirit to win this one at plus 111. No research necessary. Gut handicap coming to you from MyBookie. Head to MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN for a 100% bet back bonus up to $500. Terms and conditions apply. That's MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN. We are now with Rhythm as well. Rhythm is back. NFL is back on Rhythm. Last season, Rhythm was 76-66 against the spread and 22-19 on over-unders. Really shined on player props, too. We got 15-8 on Josh Allen passing props. It's 23% ROI. Rhythm also has MLB, WNBA, golf, and college football. Go to the site today. Start building your NFL models for week 1 and get your 7-day free trial in the process by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. Yes, sir. Cricket. I was only a couple of 4s short of hitting the prop that I suggested in our daily D-Gens play of the day the other day. Well, actually, no, two 4s short of hitting the goal of London having more 4s. So I feel bad for London, but whatevs. Cody, do you know what a 4 is in cricket?
I honestly don't really know what cricket is, Rod. I think it's like Indian baseball, but that's about
close. It's just popular.
Their version of yeah. It's huge. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, cricket's not. I've definitely dabbled in some weird stuff, some crazy stuff, but cricket's not one I really know. They got big like paddle looking things for bats. I do know that. That's about the extent of my cricket knowledge.
Beautiful. Well, just so you know, a 6 is the equivalent of a home run because that counts as 6 runs in cricket.
Oh,
so just FYI, you can use that as bar knowledge and bar trivia, and thank me later when you get a beer for it.
I will probably do that.
Beautiful. All right. Speaking of beer, people will be drinking a lot of beer because they'll either be in the playoffs and celebrating or miss the playoffs and commiserating. So playoff lines and everything are getting set after this weekend, and we'll know who's in, who's out. Cody, what does the playoff landscape look like?
Yeah, so final race of the regular season. Everything will be set after Saturday night's race. Look, you know the deal. Win and you're in. It's actually true at this point in time, Rod. And that goes for a majority of the drivers this weekend. The 4 open cars that don't race full-time, which we'll talk about in a few, but they obviously are not eligible. But any of the 36 regular drivers we see week to week, if they win this weekend, they will punch their playoff ticket and lock themselves in, like Austin Dillon, 40-1 last week, by the way, Rod. did, as of course we gave out here on the show, he punched his ticket last week. So Denny Hamlin, Shane Van Gisbergen, Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, William Byron, Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Chase Briscoe, Bubba Wallace, Joey Logano, Ross Chastain, Austin Cindric, Josh Berry, Austin Dillon. Those 14 drivers locked, loaded. They are in the playoffs, and they will be competing over the next 10 races. That means there's 2 spots remaining and only 2 spots, Rod. That means 7th place in the standings right now. Tyler Reddick, he is not safe. He is not guaranteed to get in. So obviously a new winner could put themselves in. If that happens, that leaves only 1 spot on points. If it doesn't happen, then likely Tyler Reddick and Alex Bowman are in. I mean, Chris Buescher would have to score the max 61. Actually, I don't think Chris Buescher could point his way in because he'd score some points, or Bowman would score some points. So if there's not a new winner, basically Reddick and Bowman are in. If there is a new winner, it's going to come down to Reddick and Bowman. Currently, Reddick has a 29-point lead over Bowman. If I am Alex Bowman, I probably attack this race as if there is going to be a new winner. He's got to go get max stage points. So I don't know if there's stage odds up yet, but Alex Bowman wins stage 1, Alex Bowman wins stage 2. He's going to be super aggressive about that because he's got to go get points. Tyler Reddick, on the other hand, should probably bubble wrap the car and drive behind the field and just try and get to the end of the race. So, of course, anybody else that I didn't mention that's below the cut line essentially is winning, they're in. I'd have to see the exact math on Chris Buescher. He's 60 points below Bowman, but I don't think that you can only score 61 in a race, and if Bowman starts, he's going to score at least a point, so I don't think he'd be able to pass him anyways. So yeah, that's kind of your look at the playoffs there, Rod. So we're gonna have a lot of people trying to win and get in, and these fall races at Daytona, especially when they're the cutoff, boy, we've seen some crazy ones.
We sure have. Speaking of which, Alex Bowman to win stage 1 is 14-1, win stage 2 10-1 on Caesars, by the way. So just the honorable mentions.
I mean, just because. So like a lot of people, I guess it'll be interesting, I guess, to see who kind of races for things. If you really want to put yourself in position, a lot of people, there's not a ton to race for. I mean, second place in the points is still open. Byron's already wrapped up first. So there's like 5 guys there that could still get up to second. Might be racing for some points, but I don't think anybody's going to be racing for points as hard as Alex Bowman should be.
Agreed. And by the way, where are the 2 Wonder Kids sitting in the? Now, you know what? Don't even worry about it because they don't even factor in. They are
well, Rod. If they win this week, they'll be in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, neither one of them are going to. So I don't
they'll
think
be
either
joining the likes of Austin Dillon, Josh Berry, and Austin Cindric in the playoffs.
You do have one of them. I can't believe you do that. Hunter, checking in real quick, saying he enjoys watching the Indians play cricket on the weekends in the field across the street. So you get free cricket, like you get to watch cricket from your balcony with your coffee. That's awesome.
I've sat on the balcony and watched the crickets hop along and do their little chirping, Rod. That's that happens here in Nebraska too. They're very nice little creatures. Jimmy. I like them.
Mark is saying Christopher Bell is going to win in Daytona. And yeah, I concur. The Bell bots are here. Marcus, I love your commitment to Christopher Bell. I really do. Like it is definitely something that you, it's
very
100%.
Proud. Very
yes. All right. Well, then it is time for the Coke Zero Sugar 400 set for 160 laps around this 2.500 mile historically paved track for 400 miles at the Daytona International Speedway in Daytona, Florida. Not the beach, kids. They're not driving on the beach. They're driving on the superspeedway. So, Laura, real quick saying, hey, guys. Hi, Laura.
Tip of the cap to Laura.
Tip of the cap to Laura. The books gave us stuff good and early and gave us a lot to choose from this week. So we're very thrilled with what we got. And we got a lot.
Yes, Rod. I would like to roll the tape here. This is a drafting track. Enter this with very high caution. Expect to lose all these bets, but it's the most fun way to bet on racing, in my opinion. You go in, you expect to lose all of this. Just count it all right now as losses. But wait, there's more. You can cash up to big fucking numbers because crazy shit happens in these races. Everybody's on the table. Everybody is in play in this one. We're going to talk betting on people we don't usually bet on. It's great. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. Betting on drafting tracks is a completely different animal. If you're trying to pay your bills betting on racing, first of all, bad idea, 1-800-BETS-OFF. Second of all, do not do that at Daytona. Go into this race to have fun, count these bets as losses as they cash. Don't wear out your bankroll, as JDK would say. Yes, very nice. We're going to have some, there might be a little wear on the bankroll this week. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. Yes, Laura, expect to lose because it's a drafting track. And not only is it a drafting track, which we've seen some chaos, we've seen some not chaos. This is a drafting track where there's 36 full-time drivers, Rod. 14 of them are locked in. So by quick math, that means 22 drivers are trying to win this race more than they've tried to win any other race so far this season, because this is the last final chance to snatch a playoff ticket and get in. So they are going to be racing, as Rod's already mentioned, Ty Gibbs and Carson Hocevar, very aggressively. And we know it can happen. Also, by the way, we haven't got to the entry list, Rod, but Austin Hill is in this race. So be careful, drivers. That's all I'm saying.
Snowplow. Guess what, guys? You are all about to get wrecked out. Don't even worry about it. Nobody's making the playoffs this year because Austin Hill's in the field.
But yes, Austin Hill is in the field. One of 4 non-regular open drivers, Rod. There's 40 entries. Austin Hill will be in the 33 for Richard Childress. Joey Gase is back in the 44 car for NY Racing. Casey Mears making another Cup Series start. He's going to be back in the Garage 66 car. And BJ McLeod returns to pilot his number 78 for LiveFast.
That is going to be fun to watch, especially with Casey Mears. That's always a fun time watching them try. I wish Jimmy would try to race this one, but I get why.
He finished, 4th last time he was out Daytona in the 500, Rod?
Yes, he did. 4th in the that was shades of old Jimmy.
I love Jimmy Johnson, the GOAT. I do agree with that. But the fact that he finished 4th here in the spring really is about all you need to know for anybody can finish 4th in this race, right?
Well, what have we joked every time we've been to like a super speedway race, whether it's Talladega, Atlanta, Daytona? We always say the only handicap you need is because Daytona, because Talladega. We don't have to break down the numbers. We do, but you know.
And that being said, like, obviously there are some people that are better at it than others, and we'll talk about that a lot here in a minute. But it really, like, if there's a guy you want to bet on for absolutely no fucking reason this week, you just bet on him. I mean, it does not matter. The chaos does pick and choose sometimes because there's certain drivers it seems to choose, but even those drivers have managed some good finishes recently. So I bet on anybody.
Bet on anybody, and we'll tell you who we think you should bet on when we come back. But first, let me tell you about our friends over at Circa, the world's greatest sports book. Circa Las Vegas is hosting the world's biggest pro football contest. There's Circa Million, Circa Survivor, and Circa Grandissimo with over $21 million in guaranteed prizes. You can't call yourself a true DGen if you're not competing in the Circa football contest. Come hang out with the SGPN at the Circa contest weekend this weekend, August 21st through the 23rd, for an amazing weekend, including live shows and my favorite thing, open bars. Plus, you get 15% off the stay at the Circa with promo code SGP15 anytime. Contests are open to anybody. Sign up in Nevada, play from anywhere with the help of SGPN's official proxy. Go to footballcontest.com, use promo code SGP to get $50 off of your proxy fees. How about Underdog Belong? And they're giving away $15 million in prizes, including $2 million to first place. There's no waiver wire. There's no arguments about trades. Best ball, quite literally the best way to play fantasy football. Underdog's also a great place to play Pick'em, where you can win up to 500 times your entry. Gave this out last week. Stone cold pick of the week. And this one's another one. Jet Lawrence. This time, R11 in Budds Creek. This is pro motocross, by the way. Jet Lawrence already locked up the regular season championship. Now he's just going to compile wins. Better than, worse than 1.5. Let's give him another win in this one. So better than 1.5 finishing position for Jet Lawrence. I mean, he already beat his brother up to try to get there, and now he's going to do it again. I love that. So it's on Underdog Fantasy right now. Head over there and use our promo code RACESGPN to get the brand new offer for new customers. Play just $5 and get $50 in bonus funds when you sign up with our promo code RACESGPN. ESPN. Yep, Jet Lawrence just smoked the field, won both motos just for good, measure, and took home the championship. Now he just wants to stack wins.
Hey, that's imagine how boring that would be if people locked up the championship before the end of the season, Ron.
Oh, and speaking of which, too, Corey Day. I remember I gave out that high limits pick. He won that. He finished much better than 6.5. So definitely love all of this. Man, I love digging in.
Beautiful.
Although I do realize how hard it is to pick a new sport every single day. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, that's quite the challenge, I bet. I know Nico was in here last week dropping AFL stuff and gave out an underdog, and they won by 43 points or something. It was it the Brisbane Lions? Am I getting that right?
Cody.
Shit, I remembered one of the teams. Look at me.
Good for you. All right. Well, then, Cody, I think it is time for us to start loading up these race cards. People have been patiently waiting as we sifted through everything we needed to get to before we get to the bets. So let's do it, bud.
Yeah. So again, drafting tracks, right? You take them, you look at them, and sometimes you survive the chaos. Sometimes you don't. Some drivers are inherently better at it than other drivers. That's what you lean into. And it's gotten to be more and more of a numbers game. It used to be we'd come on here and give you 15 top 10s because you get them all long odds. There's not very many top 10s in the car because, I think top manufacturer is the better way to kind of get into that now, or even maybe peeking into the top 5s more. The books have adjusted, they've corrected, whatever. You could certainly look at Atlanta if you want to. I'm sort of leaving Atlanta off because Atlanta's turned into a bit more of, I don't know, it's different, I think, than Daytona and Talladega. So leaning into Daytona and Talladega, Rod. And I should have prepped better for this, but I would like to start off. Well, first, let's hit the poll. I just got one poll award for you. I'm not going to dive deep into this. Todd Gilliland, you can get him at 20-1. Bravo Motorsports has been really good at super speedway qualifying. This is my one dart, putting it in there, and I'm rolling with it. So give me Todd Gilliland to sit on the poll. 20-1. You can get that over on, great question, I don't know where it was. It was either Caesars or 365, I think. So check either one if you've got it available. All right, Rod. Well, it's long been a commandment on this show that you fade Kyle Larson when it comes to super speedways. Now, Larson, I will say, has had some good finishes on the super speedways as of late. So I will give him credit for that. And TK wants to know, where are we at here? Are we still fading Kyle Larson? Are we not fading Kyle Larson, Rod? Well, luckily our friend JDK has used this wonderful thing over here to create this graphic of Captain Shook. That's right. Kyle Larson right now, Rod, is Captain Shook. Sure, he finished 6th place last week at Richmond because 3/4 of the field wrecked out. I get it, right? But really, he's not been doing well lately. You go back and you look, 6 at Richmond, but led 9 laps, not a factor all day. Like, not the Kyle Larson you expect. 39th at Watkins Glen, 28th at Iowa, 2nd at Indy. But again, that was kind of I don't want to say a fluke, but things kind of just worked out. He wasn't great throughout the day. 4th at Dover, but again, no laps led, like just a quiet day. 35th at Sonoma. Things have been 36th at 13th at Chicago, 17th at Atlanta, 36th at Mexico City. Like, things have not been the same. 37th at the Coke 600 since he made the double attempt at the Indy 500. Now, you go back and you look, Rod. Oh, I forgot to fucking write it down. I think he's now, I think it's 4. I'll have this in my article at sportsgamblingpodcast.com. I think it's 4 for 49 or 4 for 50, finishing in the top 5 on super speedways for Kyle Larson. Of course, he's never won one. Now, in April, he did finish at Talladega, 2nd place, and last fall at Talladega in 4th place. So I'll give him credit for that. Also, Atlanta, he finished, what did he finish? 3rd there in the spring, but 17th here just not too long ago, and he was really bad prior to that. But you go back and you look at him before that, 20th in the 500 earlier this year. So again, not the best finish of all. It's an okay day, right? But 21st at Daytona, 21st at Talladega. He didn't have an 11th place in the 500, 15th, 27th, 33rd, 18th, 18th, 37th. There was a random 4th place back in 2022 at Talladega again. All these top 5s at Talladega and Atlanta, not Daytona. 32nd at Daytona, 37th at Talladega, 40th at Talladega. Just not good runs in a general sense from Kyle Larson at super speedways. Now, usually he'll run really well. He'll look good throughout the day. And then it happens. He gets caught up in the wrecks. Also, in particular, worse here. So I do think there is a defining line between the Daytona 500 and the fall race, because the Daytona 500, it's a big thing. We're aggressive, right? First race of the season. But this race, as I talked about before, gets crazy because people are going to, I'm telling you, Rod, there's going to be a lot of big wrecks in this, and it is going to be a wreck fest. It's good.
I think we completely lost Cody. Sorry, I was waiting for it to catch up, and it didn't catch up. So the moral of the story for this one is just fade Kyle Larson, and it is 1,500 for Kyle Larson for a reason. And just also to piggyback off of Cody's point, in that there is a distinguishing factor between the 500 and the Coke 400, and that's the extra 100 miles, right? I mean, these guys, there's a few more laps in there to lead, a few more laps to get in trouble. And this is a condensed version of that race. And so they're going to be jockeying for position. So you're going to want to keep that in mind as you're making making your handicaps and just figuring things out. Because again, if you're talking about the 500, the pomp and circumstances around the 500 versus this one, and really, honestly, the fact now that this is the last race of the regular season kind of makes it that feel of chaos too. And we saw a lot of shipping last week, right? At Richmond, we saw a lot of folks that were getting into it, and we're going to see a lot more of that as well. But yeah, the fade Kyle Larson is absolutely real. I know that Cody will tell you that he's got the two head-to-heads. I don't want to necessarily stomp on him, but I will say that he was about to make the point that you're going to fade Kyle Larson in any matchup that you can find, first and foremost. But he did find a couple of them that he was going into. So I'll let him get back into that one on the other side of the break, or on the other side of when he gets back. But I'll go ahead. Oh, here comes Cody now, as you can hear by the chime in the thing. Cody, I did not reveal your bets yet. I was going to give you a couple seconds to get back. So I'll let you finish.
Corporate gambling unplugged my computer or something, Rod. I don't know what the hell happened.
I think the Captain Shook police is all over you now.
Anyways, so going to be a wreck fest, and Kyle Larson sucks at wreck fests, particularly in the fall. That's essentially the setup for this. But the bets are, I'm back on the fade Kyle Larson train. Basically, I don't know. It's probably not going to be any bet, because Bet365 already knows. They have Kyle Busch at minus 150 over Kyle Larson. Based on the way that Busch has been running lately, I think it's hard to take that, but there's some great ones out there. William Byron over Kyle Larson is minus 115. You get that on ESPN or Caesars. And Christopher Bell over Kyle Larson at minus 110 over on BetMGM. These just, to me, are not close. I read off all those super speedway finishes for Larson, right? It was all, a couple of fourths in there, but 20s, 18s, 30s. William Byron on super speedways, third at Talladega, first at Daytona. He won the 500, obviously. Third at Talladega, 27th at Daytona. Okay, one bad one. Seventh at Talladega, first at Daytona, second at Talladega, eighth at Daytona, seventh at Talladega. 8 of the last 9 Daytona Talladega races, he's been inside of the top 10. William Byron, that's how good he's been. He's won the last 2 Daytona 500s. So how are these guys even matched up? And if this was a non-super speedway race, I'd be all over this, because look how good William Byron's been lately, and look how pedestrian Kyle Larson's been. It's just not even close. So that's really the one that I really, really love. Christopher Bell, definitely less consistent, and also some questionable stuff lately for how he's run. He did finish 35th at Talladega, 31st at Daytona. So the last 2 runs earlier this year on super speedways have not been great, but 6th at Talladega, 3rd at Daytona. He's definitely got more bad finishes in there, with the 38th at Talladega, but 3rd at Daytona, 14th at Talladega, 16th, 8th, 3rd, 7th. Am I gone again, Rob?
No, you're still there.
Oh, wow. Boy, I don't know what's going on. My computer just went completely dark. Okay. Anyways, I'll have to troubleshoot these technical difficulties. But give me William Byron over Kyle Larson. We're running fade Kyle Larson back because he's in his Captain Shook era, Rod. That was the point of all of this. So Byron over Larson minus 115. Love that. And I'm also going to play Bell over Larson at minus 110.
Absolutely love it. Again, I think the trolls over there who know, and the Kyle Larson fans are over there messing with your connection. So hopefully it holds up for the rest of the episode. All right. Speaking of shook, how about one Denny Hamlin? That man has been on a roller coaster ride so far this season, from the highs of winning back-to-back in Martinsville and Darlington to the lows of finishing 24th, 25th, and yes, 10th at Richmond. But boy, you should have had a much better day at Richmond. And then, winning at Dover and finishing third at Indianapolis. It has just been a wild ride for this 11 car. And really, if you think about this is supposed to be a track in which he is very good at, right? He's got the most wins with William Byron, tied for 3 with the most wins on this track of active drivers. 11 top 5 finishes, 12 top 10 finishes. He has led the most laps of all the active drivers in the world on this track. However, let me read you his finishes from the 2021 season on. Of course, all these are also covered in the next gen era. 2021 in the fall, 13th place, Daytona 500, 37th. In the fall of 2022, 25th, 17th, 26th, 19th, 38th, 24th. He's crashed out of 3 races. Let me just read you the fall alone since the 2021 season. So that 13th place in the fall of 2021, the 25th in the fall of 2022, the 26th in the fall of 2023, the 38th in the fall of 2024. Just miserable at Daytona. Not been good for Denny Hamlin at all. And then even if we talk about the beginning of this season, 24th, he started 8th and finished 24th in the Daytona 500 this season. Just absolutely horrendous on this track over the last few seasons. So honestly, doesn't matter who you take against Denny Hamlin, to be perfectly honest with you. You're probably going to cash the head-to-head against him. But I will take a guy who has been on an amazing ride as of late, and that's Bubba Wallace. So Bubba Wallace over Denny Hamlin at minus 110. Our friends over at iFantasy Race, Ryan, has given us a great average finish heat chart, as he always does in the next gen era. There are 3 names that top this list that are of interest. John Hunter's one of them, John Hunter Nemechek, with an average finish of 9th. Now, granted, that's only 3 races for John Hunter. But of the drivers that have started all the next gen races, Alex Bowman is 2. Well, 1, I suppose, in that list. And then Bubba Wallace right after him. An average finish for Bubba Wallace of 12.1. You've got to scroll all the way down to 33rd for Denny Hamlin. 33rd on this chart of average finishes. And it's not as if he's even really been fast on this track. Denny Hamlin, 14th overall in overall speed rankings. Bubba, 8th on this one. Let me read you Bubba Wallace's finishes from the Daytona International Speedway. He's actually got 6 top 10 finishes and 16 starts. He did not finish well in the Daytona 500 earlier. He got a 29th place finish in that one after starting 3rd. Again, that's the 500. I talked about that just a second ago. But a 6th place in the fall of 2025, 5th in the Daytona 500, 12th in the fall of 2023, and then an 11th place in 2022, runner-up in 2021, and then a 5th place in the fall of 2020, a 15th place in the fall of 2019 in the 43 car, and then in 14th in 2018 in the 43 car, and 15th in 2017. I will tell you that all of those were pretty much better than Denny Hamlin's finishes on this one. So he's owning them lately. Now, how's he been doing lately? Well, last week at Richmond, bad finish. He just needed his pit crew not to screw up multiple times, as TK said. 100%, that's true. But Bubba Wallace started 7th, ended up finishing 28th. Just heartbreaking after leading 123 laps. We thought Bubba Wallace was going to go in for a really solid finish that day. Didn't. But before that, 8th, 6th, 1st, 7th. He's always good at Talladega. He got an 8th place finish there on that super speedway race. So, look, it's Bubba Wallace, and he's just been doing so well this season. I'm going to take him over Denny Hamlin at minus 110 for sure. And then I'm going to add on, because Cody, sets a good example. I'm going to add on where Bubba's going to win a bunch of groups. Group D over there on DraftKings. He's plus 250 to win that group. Group D on Caesars as well, plus 240. On BetMGM is plus 275 to win all of those groups. I don't care who's in those groups. I'm not going to lay them out for you. You go look up. But I think Bubba Wallace is good enough to win all those groups, because the drivers that are grouped around him are all drivers that he should be able to beat, right? So I'm not worried. Like this one in Caesars has Chris Buescher, Chase Briscoe, Tyler Reddick. You scared a little bit of Chris Buescher, but not necessarily. So Bubba Wallace plus 225 to win that group on Caesars. Definitely going to take that. In fact, that one got beat down a little bit from plus 250. So people are already taking Bubba Wallace to do that. But it's the same general group in most of them. And I'm going to take Bubba Wallace to win all those groups. So if you can find a group, bet Bubba Wallace to win it.
Yeah, I love this. And we talked about last week. You specifically talked about last week with the top 10, which was a fucking great bet. It was such a good bet. Running second place when they don't get the tire on all the way. That happens. He would have been a top 10 car. He was top 10 all day, but they've got momentum, even though, there was the snafu last week, but they're rolling in the playoffs. I mean, everything is gravy, right? Everything's icing on top of the cake at this point in time. So, I love Denny this week as well.
Good stuff. All right. Where are we going next, Cody?
Yeah, next up for me, I'm going to go over to Austin Cindric. I think Austin Cindric is arguably the best, or for sure one of the best super speedway drivers in NASCAR right now. Very good at the drafting tracks. I'm going to take his top 10 at top 5 rather, at plus 225. Again, top 10 market's tough. Even the top 5 is like, you got to look around for ones you like. And he's one I like. He won at Talladega earlier this spring. He also was 8th place in the Daytona 500. It's kind of been some mixed results in there, but a 5th place at Talladega in 2023 October race there, 9th at Talladega, 3rd at Daytona. He, of course, won the 500 back in 2022. He's been really good at Atlanta as well. So give me Austin Cindric, top 5 at plus 225. And then my kind of one shot I have on my card for a top 10. Well, there's one in the car lift, Rod. Car lift ahead. But the only singular one is Cody Ware, top 10 plus 400. You'd like a bigger number. And it's almost laughable that he's at this low of a number. I'm not going to go lay the house on this, but I think he's got a really good shot at finishing inside of the top 10 in this race. And at 4-1 in the current market, that's not great. That's what we got, right? So if you look at him, it's a mixed bag on these super speedways, and you can almost tell which super speedway races were chaotic and which ones weren't by where he finished. So there's some mixed results in here. There's some 31st, 32nd, so 28th. But on the upside of things, October last year at Talladega, 12th place finish by him. Daytona 2024 August race, 4th place finish in the August race here. Things were, I was trying to remember, that was the week before Darlington, right? So the week before the cutoff, so it had all the craziness. Let's skip to he didn't race here in Daytona 2023 fall races, some legal stuff going on. But the last time he was here for this cutoff race in the next gen era in the fall, 6th place finish in 2022. He is absolutely capable of it. Holy shit, Matt Jones got it at 12-1 this morning. Yeah, some people seeing 9-1, 850. I mean, this is what I saw, at least in maybe FanDuel. Their numbers tend to be bigger. We'll see what they drop at. Who knows? I think maybe they wait to see what some of the market reflects. But Cody Ware very capable of it, and I think with the chaos that's going to happen in this race, we might see him top 10 at the end of the day. So give me Cody Ware top 10 and Austin Cindric top 5.
Once again, can't really say yes or no on these ones because it could very easily happen, and definitely 4-1, especially these top 10 numbers, man. I'm telling you, it's a little disappointment because we used to get 10-1s, 12-1s for top 10s in this one, but they hammered it down real quick. So, get the larger numbers you can, and guys that actually have a little bit of a case to make.
What I'm seeing now, like Joey, if you go all the way to the bottom, Joey Gase at 12-1, Mears at 12-1. It's gonna be hard for those cars to be on the lead lap, I think, at the end of the day. BJ at 8-1. BJ at 8-1 always sounds good, Rod, on super speedways. SVG at 5-1, like that's where that the number gets cut so far so fast, and it's tough.
Yep. No, I agree. All right, I'm looking to Spire Motorsports for my next bet. And no, it's not the driver you think it's going to be. It is Mick Driver. How you guys think I'm going to pick the other Spire driver? Justin Haley. No, Michael McDowell. He is on Group E over on Caesars at plus 210, paired with the likes of Ross Chastain, Daniel Suarez, and Todd Gilliland. Look, Todd may end up starting on the pole in this particular race, but there is pretty much very little chance that he is going to end with a win. Todd Gilliland in 7 career starts, 0 top 10 finishes, average finish of 28.6 in 7 races. Cody, Todd Gilliland has only finished 2 of those races. Last year was the 2024 fall race. He finished 23rd after starting on the outside pole. And then in the Daytona 500, he ended up finishing in 27th. So I am not scared that Michael McDowell can beat Todd Gilliland in this race. Daniel Suarez, maybe the only one that scares you, because if you look at Ryan at iFantasy Race's average finishing chart and the heat chart on this one, it goes as follows. Daniel Suarez, 22.3 average finish in the next gen era. Michael McDowell, 22.4 average finish. So a 0.1 positioning in that one. Ross Chastain, 24.6. Todd Gilliland, 28.6. So yeah, those are the guys that he's around and he's with, and I think he can still beat all 3 of them, because we've seen obviously Michael McDowell be good at super speedway races, and this one in particular, it's a mixed bag of results. In the fall of 2023, he had a 13th place finish, and then in the fall of 2024, he actually started on the pole, led 26 laps, but crashed out of that one after 151 laps, finishing in 30th place. But that was, of course, in the 34. Earlier in the spring race here, he finished 11th in the Daytona 500. Again, we're not weighing that super heavy, but it is a good sign for Michael McDowell in this Spire equipment, because we know that apparently everybody thinks that the Spire equipment is fast as Xfinity Mobile. And I think that's not bad. But average finish this year for Michael of 19.5. Like I said, he had that pretty good run over there in the Daytona 500, 11th place or 13th place rather at Atlanta to follow that up. Talladega, an 11th place finish. Atlanta again, 18th place. So some pretty decent runs in drafting style tracks for Michael McDowell. And I think plus 210 to win Group E over on Caesars is a good way to get in on Michael McDowell.
Yeah, I mean, former Daytona 500 winner. Obviously, we know he can get it done. So I'm out on Chastain and Suarez right now. I mean, Suarez has had his spots on super speedways, yes, but and Gilliland, you read it, the stats just aren't really in his favor for the most part. I like the pole number, but start first, finish last, maybe it doesn't matter. So, yeah, I've McDowell doesn't really make me super excited all the time, but hard to argue with him on this one.
Indeed. All right, where are we going next?
Well, Rod, I'm going to head over to the top manufacturer market. For the super speedways, I think this is kind of taken over the top 10s for me, because this is where it gets fun. You get big numbers, and you just hope a guy beats all the other manufacturers of his type, right? So we'll start in the Ford camp. We talk about it all the time. Ford is thinner at the top. Like, really, they got a bunch of like really good, decent cars, but not great cars, I guess. I don't know. And super speedways, that's a bit different, because Cindric, I mentioned, is good. Keselowski is really good. Buescher's really good. So it is top heavy, but this is just me completely leaning into this is going to be a wreck fest. You just have to survive. Who's going to survive? Who can I get good numbers on? Really, my goal, Rod, I'm going into this race already assuming I've lost all these bets. So I want to hit big money, because I want to hit big numbers, because that's where I'm going to get something back, and that's where it's going to make it a profitable day for me. So I'm going to go to Zane Smith, top Ford at 25-1. And that's right. We're placing 2 bets on Cody Ware. Cody Ware, top Ford at 40-1. Rod, you can get both of these over on the Caesars. Really, again, it's just leaning into the chaos argument. Like, if you go to the bottom, Casey Mears is 60-1, not super interested. Custer at 25, not interested. Ware and Smith are the other 2 lowest guys on the board, and I like the big numbers I'm seeing out of them. Brad Keselowski's going to run up front during this race, and Chris Buescher's going to be pushing him, and Ryan Preece is probably going to be right there with him. Preece has been upside down 15 times on these super speedway races. Like, it's been rough for him. Keselowski, like we've seen it, he either wins these races or he wrecks, it seems like. So I'm going to jump on these longer shot guys. Zane Smith, he's had some decent ones in there, like 13th at Daytona in the 500 last year, 13th at Daytona in this race this past year. Could 13th be the top finishing Ford in the right situation? Absolutely, I think that it could. And if you can finish 13th, maybe you can up that and be a little bit better. 19th at Talladega in the spring, 21st at Talladega last year. So some good runs. There's 136 in the 500 this year and 37th at Talladega in 23. But other than that, pretty decent runs at the super speedways. And again, it's the long number and a guy that's proven he can sort of manage. I believe he's got wins in the Truck Series on Daytona as well. So give me Zane for that reason. And then Cody Ware, again, as I mentioned, like this is his opportunity to run well. The last 2 times we've seen him at Daytona in this fall race on the cutoff, he's had top 10 finishes. If you can be top 10, you can be, and you can bet his top 10 at 4-1, great. I'd like to have that. But if he gets in the top 10 and he beats all the other Fords at 10 times that number at 40-1, how do you not have some on that too? I think that we've got to adjust as the books have adjusted. They've taken away the 12-1. I mean, I'm glad it was out there this morning for a couple people to get, but we used to just get that routinely on these super speedways, and we just don't anymore. So adjust, find different places, and we can still have fun with these long shots. So top Ford market is where I'm starting, and I'll get into the other manufacturers in a sec.
Boy, could you imagine just a huge wreck to take everybody out, and all of a sudden here comes Cody Ware.
That dark horse 51 car running through there. Hopefully it's the Arby's We Have Meats machine this week. Just, it'd be beautiful.
We would all be eating Arby's for a very long time after that. Is that considered?
After Denny's rant this week on how Cody Ware could be in the playoffs and knock out Tyler Reddick, I sort of want to see that.
I would love to see that. I tell you what, we won't be doing
mass chaos. Imagine the response if Cody Ware makes the playoffs. Sometimes I love to see NASCAR Facebook just melt down, and I would love to see that.
That would be one of the prime examples of it. We won't be riding the Dente though. I'll tell you that right now. All right.
We might be later, but
we ain't riding no Dente. Eric Jones, top 10 number plus 175 over on ESPN Bet. If I told you that obviously our friends at iFantasy Race put together the next gen speed rankings chart, if I told you that the fastest driver in the next gen era on the Daytona International Speedway was Eric Jones, you would probably say to me, nope, not even close. But yes, it is. Eric Jones, average speed ranking of 9.7 around at this track. Now, unfortunately, it hasn't turned into all that very many great finishes, but there's speed in that 43 car, and there has been for quite some time. Eric Jones in the next gen era, average finish of 19.7, puts him 17th on the list overall. But I will say on this track, he has an 8th place finish. Yes, it was in the Daytona 500 from 2024, but that supports my claim. So I'm going to use that as part of my logic. But he does have a 17th place finish here in the fall of 2024. So still maintaining that somewhere in the vicinity range. He started 40th that day, by the way, started pretty much dead last and charged his way up to 17th on that one. So I do think he's got potential. And then a 12th place in the Daytona 500 earlier this year, 18th place in the 2023 fall race. Look, he did win in the fall of 2018. So he does have one Coke Zero Sugar 400 win, and then a 3rd place in the Daytona 500, a 9th place finish in the 2017. Of course, the win came in the 20 car. That 9th place finish came in the 77 car. So, I mean, look, it's a mixed bag of results for Eric Jones, but I think if we're looking at the top 10 numbers, like we said, they're kind of gross. Plus 175 for Eric Jones, who's been fast on this track, who has a Coke Zero Sugar win and trophy at home. All I'm asking him to do is climb back into the top 10. This season's been sort of a rough shot season for him. It's been good. It's been bad. It's been in between. He does have a 5th place finish on a drafting track in Atlanta. So you have that to hang your hat on. Like I said, the 12th place finish earlier in the Daytona 500, 18th place at Talladega, just one more line away from being able to move up. So, Eric Jones, a good guy to just put some ducats on at plus 175 to finish top 10.
Yeah, don't mind this at all. You're a week early. Next week is Eric Jones week when we get to the Southern 500, Rod.
True.
He'll be all over that show. I can promise you that. But I do think that he could definitely run a top 10 this week, and I like the bet.
Agreed. I like a couple of yours coming up too.
Do you, Rod? Well, let's jump into the Toyota manufacturer up next. Again, you scroll to the bottom of the board and you look at, and Toyota, it's easier in this group because there is only 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 Toyotas entered in this group. So if you take 2 of them, now you only have to beat 7 other. Again, we've seen the Toyotas wreck all of each other at the same time before, so we know that can happen. But you get 1, 2, 3 guys caught up in a wreck. One other guy has a problem. Somebody loses a tire. Suddenly, there's no Toyotas left. It's the smallest group, so that makes the guys at the bottom of this the most valuable, right? John Nemechek's 14-1. We're going to talk about him more in a second, so put that one on the shelf. But I'm going to go all the way to the bottom. Riley Herbst, 20-1. Again, are guys like Gibbs going to be good this week? Potentially. Briscoe, Wallace should be great this week. Denny can be good at Daytona. We've not seen it lately. Bell can. But the thing that you're looking for is guys are going to wreck and just survive, be the last guy standing. That's what I want out of Riley Herbst. Does he do it every time? No. But 7 career Cup Series starts on super speedways. He's been pretty solid. 138th place finish in August of 23, which he was in the 36 car for front row, an extra car at that time, wrecked out. That happens. But otherwise, 10th in his first career start, by the way, in the 15 car for Rick Ware Racing in the Daytona 500 in 2023. So solid. 20th at Talladega, 9th at Talladega in 23, and then 24th in the Daytona 500 last year, 17th in the 500 this year, 22nd. So he survived till the end at a majority of these, which is good to see. And again, you're just taking the longest shot guy on the board and hoping that they cash. So going to ride with Mr. Herbst there. And then moving over to the Chevy market, obviously all the big names at the top. Yes, they could do great. Yes, they can be good. But we're looking for value. We're searching down the board. So AJ Allmendinger, a guy that I love to target when it comes to super speedways because he's pretty good at them. He's had bad finishes like anybody else, but he finished 6th in the Daytona 500 last year. He finished 6th in the Daytona 500 in 2023. 6th at Talladega, 3rd at Daytona, 8th at Daytona, 3rd at Daytona. As you look down through his stats, next gen car has been a little less good. 24th at Dega, 41st in the 500 this year because, again, we had more than 40 cars. Remember that, Rod? Remember when we had more than 40 cars earlier this year? Crazy. We actually let them run. And then last year, 28th at Talladega, but he had the 6th place at Daytona as well. Daytona's definitely been his better of the tracks outside of the 41st this year. His recent Daytona finishes are 41st, but then 6th, 29th, 6th, 3rd. So pretty good 8th place before that, 10th place, 3rd place. If you're going back into the old car and whatnot, he's been strong on them as well. So while he's known as a road course guy, which he doesn't seem to be anymore, Rod, he is actually a super speedway guy as well. And then, well, if you cash a 40-1 ticket for me, Rod, I can't leave you off the board the next week. So we're going to go over to Austin Dillon, who's won this race in a must-win situation before. The team showed up in a must-win situation last week and got it done. Now he's racing with, hey, just carefree, right? Hey, we're in the playoffs. We don't have anything to worry about this week. Go out, run a clean race, stay out of trouble. Why couldn't he be the top finishing Chevy at the end of the day? 10th place at Talladega earlier this year, 23rd at Daytona, but 8th place at Talladega last year. There's been he gets caught up in these wrecks often. He's up in the mix, but he did win this race, as I mentioned. Remember the rain wreck that took everybody out, and then Tyler Reddick pushes him before he leaves the 8 car. But he got that done. Won here at Daytona a couple of years ago. He's also won the 500 before, so you got that. 2nd place at Talladega in 2022 as well. So very good here in the new car. Also very good here in the old car. So again, we're just kind of picking and choosing guys farther down the board that have the upside. They don't get it done every single time, and you rarely find anybody that gets it done every single time because these drafting tracks can be crazy. But that's the route I'm going. So give me Riley Herbst, top Toyota, 20-1. AJ Allmendinger, top Chevy at 22-1. And Austin Dillon, longer shot than his brother, interestingly enough, Rod. 25 to 1 for Top Chef.
That is very interesting, to be honest with you.
Coming off a win, too. Like, damn.
That's the disrespect. That's all right. Maybe they were like, oh, wait, wrong Dillon. And they were sleeping at the wheel.
They got it right, because trust me, I would like to have found more ways to bet on Ty Dillon, but the books are not sleep. They've been burned on that a couple of times before. They didn't sleep on it.
No, they did not. But where I think they might be sleeping a little bit is Chase Briscoe, top 5 plus 475 over on Hard Rock. I mean, look, this is one of those ones where you could basically throw up your hands and say, because Daytona, because it could happen, because we know Chase Briscoe has been on sort of a mini tear as of late, and he did finish 4th here in the Daytona 500 in that 19 car. You can kind of throw away most of the stats beforehand, but you probably don't want to. In the next gen era, he is the 9th best finisher overall in the heat rankings chart over for iFantasy Race. So there's something there for Chase Briscoe, even on Daytona, even in his Stewart Haas days, when he was driving the old Stewart Haas 14 car. But like I said, started on the pole here in the very first race of the season, led 4 laps and ended up finishing a 4th. He does have a 3rd place finish in the Daytona 500 back in 2022. So a couple of top 5 finishes for him there, with a bunch of bad ones wedged in between. But like I said, he's just one of those guys where he can just turn it on. 2nd place at Iowa, 2nd place at Dover, 2nd place at Sonoma, 3 entirely different track disciplines that win at Pocono. How's he done on super speedways? Well, like I said, he finished 4th at the Daytona 500. Followed that up with a 21st in Atlanta in the drafting track, 15th at Talladega. So definitely not a top 5 there. But obviously we know Talladega and Daytona race a little differently. So you kind of, take that with a grain of salt. And then, of course, he crashed out of Atlanta in the fall race of that before he started to go on his tear. This team's hot. This team's riding some momentum lately. And I think a top 5 at plus 475 over on Hard Rock is a really good number for Chase Briscoe.
Yeah. Is there anybody hotter in the series right now, Rod? I mean, Briscoe has been on fire lately. He's been cashing bets left and right, making us money. He looks good every week. I'm certainly not going to fade him at this point in time.
As well, you should not. So, all right, you got to look at the car lift's back.
Yeah, car lift's back, Rod. R.I.P. to Corey LaJoie, not racing in the Cup Series this week at Daytona. So, I guess for all of you out there, congratulations. You don't have to hear me talk about that at this point in time. But found another driver that I'd like to bet on, and we talk about often when it comes to DFS. John Hunter Nemechek. Rod, I'm going to take his top 10 at 2 to 1, top 5 at 8 to 1, top finishing Toyota 14 to 1, win the race at 60 to 1. John Hunter Nemechek, a guy that we've had our eye on all season. He's had a really good, strong season, car lifting him all the way to the top. He's been really, really strong on super speedways over his career. There's a couple of 30th place finishes, 2 of them at Talladega in both of the April races the last couple of years. And actually all 3 of us, so he has a 30th, a 31st, and a 33rd at Talladega. So keep that in mind in a couple of weeks and don't bet him there. But at Daytona, in the Daytona 500, 5th place finish right behind his boss, Jimmy Johnson there earlier this year. Rod, in this race last year, a strong 15th place finish. The Daytona 500 of 2024, 7th place. And then you have to go back to his next gen starts in 2020 when he was with Front Row the first time around. His first 4 starts at super speedways were impressive. 11th at Daytona, 8th at Talladega, 11th at Daytona, 8th at Talladega. Talk about the symmetry there, everything looking great. But that's it. He's only got 10 career starts. Every single Daytona start he has been inside of the top 15, and most of them, except for that one, have been inside of the top 10 with a top 5 in there even. So John Hunter Nemechek is a guy that has shown that, especially at Daytona in particular over Talladega, he's been able to get to the end of these races. And you got to have a car lift when we come to a super speedway. Pushing all the chips in on Mr. Nemechek this week.
Love it. Well, like I said, I mean, if I think Eric Jones is going to be inside of the top 10, then you got to think that his drafting partner is going to be right tucked around him. John Hunter Nemechek, whether it's Eric Jones pushing John Hunter for the win, or the top 5 or whatever. I think I love it.
That'd be ideal. Jones could push John Hunter to the win. We cash the entire car lift and the top 10 for Jones.
Now, see,
I love it. Win. Yeah, we're good.
Win. I love it. No, yeah, like I said, I can't argue with legacy, especially given that they finished so well in the spring. Granted, we know, like I said, it's the Daytona 500, not the Coke Zero Sugar 400, but still a good run on Daytona. Feels like a good run on Daytona. All right. Speaking of the difference between the 500 and the 400 is the amount of laps, first and foremost, and the fact that there is not the ability to lead a whole lot of them with 164 on the line. I'm going to take most laps led by a driver. The line is set at 43.5 over on Caesars. I'm going to take the under at minus 115. In the next gen era, a driver has led more than 43 laps in only 2 of the 3 races last year. In the Coke Zero Sugar 400, out of the 160 laps that were available, Joey Logano led the most with 34. The year before that, in the 2023 Coke Zero Sugar 400, Chase Briscoe led 67 laps. But that was that was only 3 cautions in that race. There was not a lot of drama, not a lot of danger, not a lot of craziness happening in that race. But in 2022, it was Chase Elliott leading 31. Now, granted, here's the funny part, right? So Chase Elliott leads 31 laps in that race, crashed out of it, and ends up finishing in 29th. Chase Briscoe leads 67 laps. He crashes out of it, finishes in 30 in 2023. In 2024, Joey Logano lead the most laps with 34, crashed out, finished 31st. You don't want to lead the most laps.
Lead's a dangerous place to be on a super speedway.
100%. So, yeah, you don't want to lead a bunch of laps for that. But, yeah, in the next gen era, 2 out of the 3 years, this prop has cashed. But you go back even farther, 2021 in the fall race at Daytona, 37 laps led by Joey Logano, who, by the way, did not win this race, but he didn't crash. So at least there's that. And then in 2020, 36 laps was the most laps led by Joey Logano. Boy, if you want to take Joey Logano to lead the most laps, you might want to do that too, because it feels like he's been the one leading the most laps at the end of it. But whoever leads the most laps, I do not think that they're going to reach that magical number of 43.5, especially now that this is the cutoff race, especially now because there's so many people that are going to get desperate by the end of this. Nobody's going to want to let somebody lead too much because they want control of the race. So most laps led under 43.5, minus 115 over there on Caesars.
Yeah, I like this bet, and you made a really strong case for it. And we've seen the fuel conservation thing, like that's going to be a thing this week. They're going to be talking about it. People don't want to be the leader. You're going to see people trading off if they get the opportunity with somebody they can trust, because you don't want to be that first car breaking that win. So, yeah, I like it.
All right. Well, speaking of people who are going to try to win this race, who's going to win this race in your opinion?
Well, that's the goal, Rod. Try to figure out who's going to win the race. So, yeah, going with a lot of outrights here and mostly long shots, because that's the fun in this, really. So, John Nemechek at 60-1, I gave out as part of the car lift, of course. But also, Austin Cindric, I'm going to take at 13-1. He's the guy of the favorites who jumps out to me. He's been particularly good at Daytona. 8th place here in the spring. He, of course, won one of the dual races as well. 18th, 22nd, but he's got that 3rd place finish here in August in the cutoff race a couple of years ago. Also won here in the Daytona 500. So give me Austin Cindric, who's been one of the better guys on super speedways in the next gen era. Then, Rod, one of your favorite drivers, I am going to take a stab on Carson Hocevar to win this thing. Now, I will say this. I do not want any other bet on Carson Hocevar. I do not want a top 10. I do not want a top 5. I don't want to take him in a matchup. I don't want to take him to win a group. I want to bet on Carson Hocevar to win this race because, Rod, Carson Hocevar is the type of guy who's going to go out there and he's going to lay it all out on the fucking thing. He is going to go balls to the wall. He's either going to come back with the trophy or he's going to come back with the steering wheel, and there's probably no in between. 35-1. You're giving me a guy that is going to be max aggressive on a place where you have to be max aggressive at times in order to win. This could go terribly wrong, and it likely will. That's why it's 35-1. Or he gets it done like he almost did. Was it Talladega earlier this year where if he wouldn't have got the caution, he probably would have won the race? I don't remember which one it was, but he was good. I think maybe it was one of the Atlanta races. But he was 6th place at Talladega earlier this year. And he's been decent on the super speedways. 14th at Talladega last year, 11th in this race at Talladega last year. So survived the chaos there at the end with a chance. 17th at Talladega, a couple of rough starts in his first couple of super speedway starts. But again, it's not really about the finish. It's just about he's a guy that's going to be aggressive. He's going to try to put himself in position. If it's late, he will make a move to win the race. It might wreck everyone, and it's probably going to. But steering wheel, trophy, bring me back one or bring me back the other. I don't give a fuck about a 5th place finish this week, Carson. Get us into the playoffs or wreck that fucking car, buddy. So that's where I'm at with that. AJ Allmendinger, 60-1, Rod. Amazing super speedway racer. Absolutely love him this week. I already talked about him quite a bit. So give me him to win this. And then talked about his brother who cashed us big last week. Can we get back-to-back Dylan cashing us big tickets? Tyrone Dillon, 80-1. Look, he's a solid super speedway guy. And actually, I actually care more for, in his case, of a guy that gets to the end of these races, and that's what he does. This is a case where I want there to just be mass attrition. He's one of the guys left at the end of the day and has himself with a shot to get up front. 14th at Daytona in the 500, 11th here in the fall race last year. 11th here in the fall race last year, chaotic race. What about the last time he raced at Daytona in the fall? 18th place in 2022, chaotic race. He's been known to get it done. And going back to the old car, a 3rd place finish at Talladega in the 13 Geico car for Germain Racing, a 4th place at Daytona in the summer race, a 6th place at Daytona in the 500, a 6th place at Daytona. All these in the 13 car, Rod. He has got good finishes here as a guy who knows he's not in the best equipment. He's not the best driver. He'll go out, mind his P's and Q's, keep himself in a position. That's what I want, is a guy who's in position late in this race with a chance to capitalize. And I mean, look, Harrison Burton, which Cup car is he driving this year, Rod? He's not. Yeah, he's not even in a good Xfinity car. But he won this race last year, and it took a lot of talent and skill, and shout out to him for doing it. But just put yourself in the right position. That's what Harrison did last year. Anybody can win this race. Joey Gase, Casey Mears, even BJ McLeod, it's going to be a little tougher for them. But really, the other 37 drivers, even Cody Ware I'm throwing in that conversation, I think can put themselves in position to really be a strong contender to win this race if they can survive to the end.
Carson Hocevar, come back with your hood or on it if we're doing
TK says he's a win it or bin it on a normal week, let alone a super speedway.
I pity all the cars he's about to take out on his way to
not wrong,
30th
TK.
place finish.
You're not wrong.
This week. All right. My pick to win, pretty simple. Started out with him and ended with him. It's Bubba Wallace. 22-1 for the guy that's on a hot streak. I made all the case for him earlier about super speedway racing. I gave you all the stats about Bubba Wallace. I'm just going to double down on him. I think he's going to win all those groups, and to do that, he's going to win this race. And it just, to me, this almost makes the most logical sense. They are so snake bitten by what happened to them last week. They were in position to just, if not win that race, and have one hell of a solid finish. He was fast all day long. Obviously, he's got good teammates that are going to be around him pushing him. He's going to be in that Toyota camp who we know they stick together on super speedways, whether it's, 2311, whether it's Gibbs, whether it's Legacy, doesn't matter. All those teams will band together on super speedways and play the manufacturing because they have to. There's not that many of them to go around. So he's going to be in good company. He's going to be around the front most of that race, if not, in the position to win anyways. But at the very end of this 160 laps, I think Bubba Wallace gets another win and goes into the playoffs with a full head of steam and just has himself a good old time because he's in the right headspace. A lot like AJ Allmendinger. Bubba Wallace is in the right headspace. Watch out.
Yeah, and he's got everything going for him right now. He's in the playoffs, and there's something to be said for the Austin Cindrics, the Bubba Wallace outrights that we gave out here. Those guys have no pressure in this race. And while Carson Hocevar, I don't know what I was going for there, but Carson Hocevar is what I was trying to do. He's going to be going balls to the wall because he has to win. These guys just need to mind their P's and Q's. They're great super speedway racers. Just get to the end of this thing, and you have a shot. They don't have to over push. And it could go either way. It could be the guy that's over pushing that gets it done, or it could be the guys that are just taking it easy and having a nice Saturday night drive because they're already locked in the playoffs. They got nothing to worry about. They put themselves in position. And with Cindric, with Wallace, we know they're great at this track. We know they're great at super speedway drafting and racing. So I like having those guys in the card.
Me to, speaking of the card, get out your pen and paper. Time to go over the card for this Coke Zero Sugar 400. Sorry, no graphic. Cody and I have had a pretty wild day. I know Cody's has been even wilder than mine, but absolutely wild days today. So super speedway start already to the show. So we know where all of our head is at. So
In multiple ways. You're
no.
coming in. I crashed mid-race. It was rough.
We had to throw the caution real quick because Cody's feed went out. So it's no biggie. We just, took a couple caution laps and got everybody back on the track, and we're all okay. So, all right. Cody started you out with Todd Gilliland to win the pole at 20-1 for this race. Gave you the Byron over Larson at -115 over there on ESPN and Caesars, and Bell over Larson at -110 over on MGM. I gave you Bubba Wallace over Denny Hamlin at -110 on BetMGM. And then just pick a group, any group, or all of them for that matter. Bubba Wallace is going to win all those Group Ds around there on DraftKings at +250, Caesars at +225, I think it is now, and then BetMGM at +275. Cody gave you Austin Cindric as a top 5 car at +225. And then he gave you Cody Ware as a top 10 car at 4-1. I said McDriver is going to be the winner of Group E at +210. That's McDowell over Chastain, Suarez, and Gilliland. I just see people right now scrolling going, McDriver. Who's McDriver? I don't see McDriver out there. McDowell. Cody gave you Zane Smith as a top 4 to 25-1. And then Cody Ware? That guy. Where? Top 4 to 40. We don't say his name nearly often enough. And then I give you Eric Jones as a top 10 car at +175 over on ESPN. Cody gave you Riley Herbst as the top Toyota at 20-1. AJ Allmendinger 22-1 be the top Chevy. And then Austin Dillon to be the top Chevy at 25-1. I said Chase Briscoe would be a top 5 car at +475. Cody gave you John Hunter Nemechek on the car lift. Top 10 at 2-1. Top 5 at 8-1. Top Toyota at 14-1. And to win the race at 60-1. I said that the driver who would win or lead the most laps would be less than 43.5. Most laps led under 43.5 at -115 over on Caesars. Can you tell we're getting to the end of this? Cody said Austin Cindric 13-1. Carson Hocevar 35-1. AJ Allmendinger 60-1. Ty Dillon 80-1 to win the race. Me, Bubba Wallace 22-1 to win. Cody, the checkered flag is about to fall.
You just got to make it to the end of the race, Rod, and we have 2 things to leave you with here. Don't forget this is a Saturday night race. Once again, get those fantasy lineups in, get those bets in. Don't wait till Sunday or you'll be very sad about that. Or maybe you won't, depending on who you're going to bet. And the second thing, you're betting on a super speedway, on a drafting track. Take down the seriousness. Go have fun betting on this race because that's what it's all about. As much as we love to grind it out week to week and, we got to make sure have fun betting on these races. Sit back, crack a beer, your choice of drink, whatever that might be. Enjoy it and have a great time.
Indeed. Do all of that and make sure to come back for the rest of the week as we have episodes for you. Xfinity Series gets its own episode. And then, of course, Thursday, DFS. Unfortunately, I will not be here with you. Cody will be riding solo for those episodes unless he decides to bring on
Connor Zilich is going to be back 2 weeks after breaking his collarbone, and Rod can't even show up for 3 shows this week. Boy, it's crazy.
This is ridiculous. I need to find myself a new agent and get myself out of commitments other than this. But
when the Army calls, we let you go. So, yes, I'll be holding down the fort the rest of the week. So, going to need your help, chat, jumping in and keeping me company. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube, click that bell so you know when I go live. And be back for Xfinity full show hopefully tomorrow. I don't think I've seen any odds yet, but hopefully those will be out. And then DFS, of course, will be the other show this week. So join me over on the X at @Husker_Zeeb, where you can find all my work, tons of college football stuff, tons of NFL stuff, in addition to all the wonderful NASCAR racing, all that fun stuff. My take on Anthony Richardson being Trey Lance 2.0. You can find that over there. It's a sad day for me, Rod. Okay. Yeah. See you guys tomorrow.
Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. Link in about everything I've got going on, whether it's here, of course, in between media. Make sure you check out Seth and Elliott as they take you through Daytona this week as well. And of course, my DGens only play of the day, 5 points away from hitting the over on the Congo versus Cameroon basketball game earlier this morning. I'll find a good one. We'll cash it and have some good stuff. So, all right. Cody will see you tomorrow. I will see you next week after all the craziness of Daytona has died down. But until then, I'll miss you guys. Love you all. Let's go racing and let it ride.
Sweet as a red ring, cast away all the miles.